I see that. Yeah. I was like, damn, it's 6 out there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, bro.
After almost a year of dead silence, the man who allegedly pulled the trigger on Lil Jeff has finally broken his silence, and what he said changes everything.
Damn. Okay, so is there anything about that case you want to clear up and just touch about, bro? Because I see you got a whole different perspective.
No bullshit. I see the videos. I see that. Yeah. I was like, damn, it's 6 out there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, bro.
He just exposed what the cameras didn't catch, and who really tipped him off. Turns out, Trap City Rob didn't just happen to be ready that day. Somebody gave him a heads up. That tip-off is the only reason he didn't end up laid out himself. And now folks are wondering, who really set Jeff up? Could it have been one of his own from Bloodhound Gang? And why did his so-called crew just stand around while bullets flew, without busting back? These ain't just rumors anymore. We finally got answers from the man himself. In a wild twist nobody saw coming, Trap City Rob came forward to share his version of what really went down that day.
I'm conscious, bro. Like, I'm in my environment, but I understand the overall. You know what I'm saying?
According to him, Lil Jeff didn't leave him much choice. It was either crash out or stand tall, and Rob chose the streets. Now, if you're not caught up, here's the rundown. On June 8th, 2024, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, Q50, and another dude were deep in Trap City, and they weren't just chillin', they were out hunting. Security footage shows them in a black SUV, locked in and ready to spin. The second they locked eyes on the target, Lil Jeff jumped out the whip and started letting shots fly while sprinting full speed. The dude he was chasing, wearing some loud yellow shorts, dipped fast, ducked low, and took off running like his life depended on it. Because it did. He caught one in the chest, but didn't drop. He kept pushing, diving straight onto the porch of a nearby building. That's when I knew the bloodhounds were out for blood. Lil Jeff had that black Nike hoodie and gray joggers on, chasing his op with tunnel vision.
Black man is very underdeveloped and undereducated in America, bro.
Ooh, not me?
No, listen, bro. When it comes to emotional intelligence, reasoning, and people getting shot over shoes and that's not being emotionally intelligent.
But what tripped everyone out? His homies didn't follow him. Instead, they hung back near the SUV, spraying at the getaway car that left the target there. But none of them backed Jeff up on foot. Then things took a wild turn. Just as Jeff stepped onto the porch, shots started flying from the alley. The whole scene went from tense to chaotic in seconds. Bullets were ringing out heavy, and Lil Jeff was caught right in the middle of it all. His squad was way too far to help. They just stood there while it all unfolded. They barely let off a few weak shots toward the house, like they already knew it was over. Lil Jeff had taken multiple hits, and instead of helping, his crew just turned around, ran back to the black SUV, and waited like they were preparing to scoop up a body, not fight back. And honestly, that makes sense. The police later found a pile of shell casings right by the front door, showing Jeff got stood over right behind that big porch pillar. And let's talk about that pillar. It was solid cover. From where his crew was posted, they couldn't even see what was happening, let alone do anything about it. But here's where it gets even more wild. After dropping Lil Jeff, the shooter didn't just dip. Nah, he jumped off the porch and came gunning straight for the rest of them. You can spot a dude in a red jumpsuit limping back to the SUV. That's most likely Q50. Word on Reddit is that he caught a bullet in the foot. And when you rewatch the footage, yeah, that limp is real. The craziest part? His crew just froze. For a second, they lowered their guns and looked like they were in shock, like, damn, our big homie really just got stood over right in front of us. It was that deep. Then out of nowhere, it's like they snapped out of it and finally started firing back. But by then, it was way too late. But by then, it was already too late. Lil Jeff had taken nearly 19 bullets to the chest. 19! You can literally see him collapse near the end of the footage. And just when you thought that was it wasn't over. After the dust settled, his crew circled back like nothing happened and scooped up his body before the cops even showed. They rushed him to the hospital, but it was done. Lil Jeff was pronounced dead on arrival. Someone else online pointed out that this lines up perfectly, because the hospital did confirm a man was dropped off in a black SUV by his friend and left behind. The timeline, the vehicle, everything matched. I even pulled up the address on Google Maps just to see how this all fits together. And it's wild. You can spot a silver Jeep parked right across from the black SUV. That Jeep was likely parked outside the house that had the security cam, the same one that caught the whole ambush. And if you scroll around the map a bit, you'll see the exact angle where that SUV was sitting during the shooting.
I don't chase that shit. I don't even like it, so I don't even know. Internet crazy, so.
In a gritty sit-down with Block 2 Block, Trap City Rob finally came clean, saying he saw 6 dudes chasing down his homeboy that day. 6? Now that changes the whole story. But wait, the viral video never showed 6 people. So how did Rob know? That's the slip-up right there. He might have exposed more than he meant to. Still, even with how clean that counterattack looked, Rob didn't brag or pop off. He kept it cold and simple. Said he was just protecting his turf. And honestly, that lines up. A resurfaced clip shows him chilling right on the front porch where Jeff got dropped. Calm, posted up, watching everything move. He looked like he lived there. One fan even joked, "For real, this dude like some troll in a cave? You don't know he there till it's too late." Facts. People started calling him the Defensive Player of the Year after that interview. And not just for the shots. Rob broke down how he's always on point, always peeping the corners. He said he stays on that porch for a reason, because he knows every sound, every shadow, every move in that hood. And you could see it during the interview. Him, OTF Black, and Terror all constantly scanning, heads on swivels like it's a war zone. No slip-ups, just survival. That's Chicago for you. No reset button, no time to second guess. Then Rob gave a quick glimpse into what he calls his critical consciousness. And that's when he started breaking down the real meaning behind drill. Rap is a setup, a trap to make young black men turn on each other. That's the message Trap City Rob dropped during his Block 2 Block interview, and it hit hard. He said what a lot of folks been thinking but too scared to say. These young dudes fall for the bait every time, beefing over nothing, throwing away lives over petty drama. And even though Rob's words came after a deadly situation, the hood had something to say about it. The comments lit up. One person said, "Rob is what you call a grown man," and another backed it up with, "These dudes are mature. Jeff was just a young and wildin' on OGs." They weren't dissing. They were pointing out the difference in mindset. OGs got structure. OGs don't crash out like that. The interviewer even brought up a meme that went viral. Rob's face photoshopped onto Malcolm X's body with the caption, "Protect the trap." The streets loved it. Folks joked that Rob should run for president. And honestly, the way he handled the whole thing, some say he'd probably win. But Rob stayed grounded. He said, yeah, he saw the meme, but he's not into chasing clout online. He's not bragging about catching a body. And he made it clear why. It only makes things worse. For Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds, the real war didn't start with a chain snatching. It started with a death. The murder of his cousin, Z Money, lit the fuse that blew everything wide open. Let's rewind for a second. Early on in Jeff's rise, his big bro Jay Boogie got locked up on a serious charge. With Jay out the picture and sitting behind bars, somebody had to step in. And that's where Z Money came in. He wasn't just a cousin, he became Jeff's day-to-day mentor, handled his dirt, pulled strings behind the scenes. While Jeff soaked up the spotlight, Z was the man in the shadows, moving like a boss without needing credit.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18 type.
Okay.
I just turned like 18.
But that all came crashing down on March 16th, 2023. That day would change everything. Z Money was sitting in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street, just off the intersection near Kimbark, right in the Avalon Park area. It was broad daylight, outside a local dry cleaner spot. Out of nowhere, a car rolled up. No warning, no words. Just gunfire. They let it rip, aiming straight at Z Money's vehicle. He never saw it coming. That moment shattered whatever fragile peace existed between Trap City and Drill City. Z Money was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, but that was his final stop. He didn't make it. He took his last breath there, and with it, a massive piece of Lil Jeff's world broke apart. For the Bloodhounds, it was a heavy loss. But for Jeff, it was personal. Z Money had been his shield, his street compass ever since Jay Boogie got locked up. After the murder, Jeff and his right-hand man, Q50, showed their pain the only way they knew, by inking Z Money's name deep into their skin. It wasn't just a tribute. It was a promise, a vow that this one wouldn't go unanswered. Just when things looked like they were settling down, whispers started swirling online. Reddit threads began popping up with unconfirmed claims. Z-Money didn't just get caught slipping. He got backdoored by old associates from Trap City. That rumor hit the hood like gasoline on fire. Lil Jeff couldn't rest. The second he heard those whispers, it was on. He wasn't thinking about peace. He was thinking about payback. Word is, Jeff already had a target lined up. Lil Pooh, a Trap City dude who'd been throwing slick disses at Z-Money's name like it was a joke. And get this, Lil Pooh was out in public, walking around bold like nothing had happened. Lil Jeff never moved sloppy. He gave his targets time to relax, let their guards down, and feel safe before making his next move. April 9th, 2023. That was D-Day. The Bloodhounds made the call. Lil Pooh wasn't making it to summer, but Jeff didn't pull up recklessly and start wildin'. Nah, he played it cold. He waited outside Pooh's crib, locked in like a silent assassin, patient, focused, like a watchdog on a leash, just waiting for the right second to snap.
But the shit I'm doing now is I've been seeing my whole life, you know what I'm saying? I told you I got an older brother. So this shit ain't nothing new for real. It's the same shit I've been seeing.
And when Lil Pooh came home that night, thinking he was about to lay his head down, Jeff made sure it was the last time. According to CPD, around 11:30 p.m., gunshots ripped through the 1800 block of 223rd Street. When officers got there, they found the victim, later ID'd as Pierre Boozer Jr. Laid out in the front yard, multiple shots, no pulse, no mercy. Nobody told police anything. Not a witness, not a word. But the streets? Oh, the streets knew exactly who did it. And Jeff made sure they knew even more. Not long after, he recorded a diss track, unreleased, but heard by enough ears to stir up chaos. In it, Jeff bragged about waiting in the grass for his moment, making it crystal clear that this wasn't random. Lil Pooh dissed Z, now Lil Pooh gone. Word on the street is, Lil Jeff never dropped that diss track officially, not out of fear, but out of respect for a homie from the flip side who asked him to chill. Still, Jeff made sure the message got across. When one of Lil Pooh's people posted his pic, Jeff slid in with a cold response. He dissed Z, point blank. No Z-Money slander would be tolerated, period. But here's the thing. After that revenge move, Jeff didn't disappear or lay low. He had tasted blood, and he wanted more. He was back outside, hunting ops like it was sport, and it didn't take long before another body dropped. One of the most talked about hits linked to Jeff? The murder of BKN's Lil Rob and Monty. And it was all caught on camera. This wasn't a back alley situation. This happened in broad daylight, in the middle of downtown Chicago, at Innovations High School in the Loop. It was around 12:30 p.m., lunch break. Rob and Monty were walking out of school, headed toward Washington Street and Wabash Avenue, a busy spot full of foot traffic and students. They had no idea what was waiting. If you look closely to the right side of the surveillance video, you'll catch the exact moment a dark-colored SUV pulls up from under the train tracks. One shooter jumps out, charges straight at the boys like he's on a mission, and lets off shots with zero hesitation. The second the targets drop, he bolts back to the SUV and peels off, hitting Wabash and South, then cutting left on Madison before disappearing into the city. Now, while the footage clearly shows just one vehicle, CPD Deputy Chief later confirmed that 2 cars actually rolled up and started spraying. This wasn't random. It was coordinated. Eyewitnesses said it was over in seconds. Between 10 to 15 shots rang out, and then the cars vanished like ghosts. A local shopkeeper, Mohammed Warisi, who was nearby when it happened, described the sound as firecrackers. But anyone from the streets knows what that really means. One of those pistols was likely rigged with a switch. That ain't no regular Glock. That's switch work. Rapid fire. No mercy. The hit was vicious. Cold. Chicago was shook. News spread fast. People mourned, but not everybody. Because not long after the murders, the person believed to be behind it all hopped on Instagram Live. No shame, no remorse, just flexing, dropping comments that made it crystal clear he was claiming it. Lil Jeff moved so cold and calculated, fans of drill couldn't help but ask, why did he chase down Lil Rob and Monty with that much precision? Here's why. Way back, Rob and Monty allegedly caught Jeff slippin' and jacked him for his jewelry. And they didn't just keep it street, they took it straight to the internet, started trolling, dissing, throwing dirt on the Bloodhound's name like it was a game. They hopped on social media, talking wild, bragging about the robbery and clowning Jeff, claiming the jewelry they snatched was fake. They weren't quiet about it either. Lil Rob and Monty straight up flexed the bounty on camera. They flashed 2 watches they grabbed during the hit, trying to make it look like a major come-up. But one of the watches? Total cap. A fake iced-out piece designed to mimic a real AP. And the internet caught on quick. A Reddit user zoomed in and spotted the giveaway. A GLD logo on the clasp. GLD. That's a plated jewelry brand, all flash, no value. Basically, they were showing off knockoffs and clowning themselves without realizing it.
Motherfuckers to hang them, they know what they did.
So, okay.
They know what they did.
So, okay, the Bloodhounds, yeah, y'all was cool.
Everybody that got a
That was
bang
my homie.
He
switch.
stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my own chain.
Jeff wasn't gonna let that slide. He jumped on IG Live and denied they took anything by force. He claimed they just peeked at the pieces while he wasn't looking and ran off like cowards. Not long after, a YouTuber named Word from the Trenches pulled Monty and a few BKN boys onto his vlog. In that same vlog, things got real heated. Monty ended up getting a FaceTime call from none other than Bloodhound Lil Jeff. The tension was through the roof. Monty kicked it off by mocking Jeff, asking, "Where the J at?" Meaning, where that jewelry at? Then, just to rub it in, he flashed the watch he claimed he took off Jeff. It wasn't just petty, it was full-on disrespect. The whole BKN squad used that vlog to clown Lil Jeff and throw dirt on the Bloodhound's name. But anybody who knows Jeff knows he don't tolerate disrespect. And this wasn't gonna be forgotten. Fast forward almost a year after the hit on Lil Rob and Monty, the CPD finally started connecting the dots. The first person they arrested? Tommy Coleman, a known Bloodhound affiliate and close to Jeff. He got picked up on the 5700 block of North Mason and hit with 2 counts of murder. Then earlier this year, the second name dropped. 20-year-old James Allison, also known as JMO Bloodhound. He was next to get caught in the mix. Word on the block was, Lil Jeff himself was next on the police radar. That is, before his own life was cut short. So when the news broke that Trap City Rob allegedly killed Lil Jeff, the streets went wild. One fan summed it up with a chilling comment: "He killed Lil Rob, now he got by Big Rob." What started as a dark joke in the comment section ended up hitting hard, because it showed one brutal truth. In gang life, there's only 2 ways out: prison or a casket. But here's the real question. Why did Reddit zero in on Trap City Rob as the one who smoked Lil Jeff? The moment word hit the street that Lil Jeff was gone, Chicago lit up, not just with grief, but with trolling. The Reddit threads went wild. Users flooded forums with memes, disses, and street theories, most of it targeting the hood rumored to have sent Jeff back to his maker. As expected, the Collegy subreddit, known for dissecting everything Chicago drill-related, wasted no time pointing fingers. And their top suspect? None other than Trap City Rob, aka iTrap Rob. Why? Well, according to discussions, Rob had already been arrested multiple times at the same apartment complex where shots were fired that night. To Reddit, that was all they needed to start piecing it together. While some users were busy naming Rob, others were zooming in on the drill video, trying to ID Jeff's crew. The guy in the red jumpsuit instantly caught people's eyes, and the internet claimed it was Q50. Memes went flying. Folks started clowning Q50 for catching a bullet during the hit. But Q50 wasn't having it. Q50 can deny it all he wants. But in the streets, the code is simple. The block don't lie. And just like that, Reddit detectives weren't done yet. They dug deeper and ended up identifying the guy in the yellow shorts, the one Lil Jeff was chasing in the viral clip, as none other than Trap City Glenn. But here's where it gets crazy. That wasn't the first time Lil Jeff ran up on Glenn. Rumors hit fast that Jeff had already caught Glenn slipping once before, at a store, and let off 15 shots at him right then and there. Somehow, Glenn walked away untouched, again. And if folks thought it was cap, a resurfaced clip shut all that down. In the video, Lil Jeff himself talks about airing out that store, confirming everything the streets had been whispering. 15 shots and Glenn still lived? One fan summed it up best. Damn, his grandma gotta be praying over him. No other way he survived that. But Jeff wasn't finished. He wanted Glenn gone, and he wasn't letting one failed attempt stop him, so he spun back. But this time, things flipped. Jeff was the one who didn't make it home. According to official reports, surveillance officers caught Trap City Rob slipping, walking in and out of his apartment on South Rhodes Avenue, strapped with a black firearm. And here's the catch. Rob's a convicted felon, already marked as a gun offender. That means legally he had no business holding a weapon, ever. So when officers rolled up to bring him in, Rob wasn't trying to go quietly. The report says that when they moved in, he pulled back, ignored their commands, and started dead weighting his body, refusing to budge. His resistance was so stiff that the officer had to switch tactics, using control techniques, escort holds, and eventually an emergency takedown just to get him on the ground. In the middle of that scuffle, things got real. A loaded black handgun dropped from Rob's thigh, confirming what the officers already suspected. But even after the gun hit the ground, Rob kept fighting. He wasn't giving in easy. It took a second officer jumping in just to finally slap cuffs on him, and because of his size and the way he was resisting, they had to double up the cuffs, using 2 just to hold him. That ended up injuring his right wrist during the takedown, but it didn't stop there. Due to his aggressive behavior and the heat of the moment, cops skipped all protocol. They threw Rob straight into the squad car and hauled him off to the 2nd District lockup. No games played. In a wild twist nobody saw coming, the investigation into Trap City Rob's alleged role in Lil Jeff's murder hit a wall. Despite all the rumors, all the Reddit posts, and all the street talk, the authorities couldn't prove he was the actual shooter. Just like that, the murder charge got dropped. But Rob didn't walk away clean. Since he was caught holding a loaded firearm as a convicted felon, that gun charge stuck, and now he's likely facing some real time behind bars. After his arrest, Reddit exploded. Users went back and forth, breaking down the case like detectives. One person said, "I ain't well versed on Illinois self-defense laws, but it's insane to me that anybody would be charged with murder in this situation." But another clapped back, "Ain't no self-defense for overkill. A couple shots maybe, but not 19. While folks argued over whether it was self-defense or a straight hit, another comment hit a different nerve. "Free is for that armed habitual. He proved that day why they call it a habit." And honestly, a lot of fans agreed. Trap City Rob was seen by some as the one who stood on business. The way people talked, it felt like Reddit had solved the case before the CPD even laced up. But here's the chilling part. If Rob didn't pull the trigger, then who did? One Reddit user put it best. "Rob ain't pull it. The real shooter? We'll probably never know. He's laying low and staying quiet." What do you think? Did Rob take the fall, or is the real hitter still out there watching all this unfold? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to hear the truth. Click the card on your screen for more deep dives, and I'll see you in the next one.